Hello and welcome to 21st Century E-Update. I'm Jamie.
And I'm Liz.
And we're your hosts for today's look at a fun and successful way to integrate e-skills into learning more about science, technology, engineering and mathematics, or what we call STEM subjects.
As always, our goal is to share ideas, tips, and easy-to-use resources that will help you get started using technology in your teaching and learning. And as you develop your own lesson plans and projects, please be sure to share them with us so that we can showcase your work on upcoming E-Update shows.
Today we are going to look at ways to use free online resources to create fun hands-on learning activities. We'll start by talking with a NASA astronomer involved in developing a video and hands-on materials about the sun.
Then we'll talk with an instructor who used these materials to develop a project with rich media resources and tools from the Nortel LearniT website. And finally, we'll hear from one of the students involved in that project to get their perspective on what it's like to learn this way.
So now I'd like to introduce you to our first guest, Dr. Sten Odenwald.
Could you please tell us what you want teachers and students to get out of the Ancient Observatories program?
I think for me the one theme that I'd like them to really understand is that humans as a civilization going back tens of thousands of years have really been into this subject for a long time. And every civilization, every generation has tried the best that they could with the tools that they had to understand the world around them. And we're blessed with the fact that we live thousands of years after some of the more primitive attempts, and we've amassed the most incredible technologies and tools that extend our senses and help us actually answer some of the questions that we've had for many, many generations. And I think it's just thrilling to see that interplay over the long expanse of time between the development of new technologies and our ability to ask even more penetrating questions about the world around us.
Could you please tell us about the Ancient Observatories program and what it is?
Well, Ancient Observatories is sort of a celebration of how we as a civilization, as a human civilization, got to where we are today. Basically through a variety of technologies that ancient civilizations used to study the stars, to study alignments of monuments with risings and settings of planets and the sun and moon. And how this has over time evolved into the Hubble Space Telescope and particle accelerators and a variety of things that we use today to study the nature of matter in the universe.
Interesting videos certainly make it more fun to learn about difficult subjects, which is exactly what happens with good e-research. Thank you very much for joining us today and giving us an inside scoop on Ancient Observatories.
Well, thank you very much. It's been a lot of fun.
Great. And now we'll go to Sarah with Mr. Walsh.
Our next guest is David Walsh. Mr. Walsh is a teacher who created a project that started off with the Ancient Observatory lesson plan. But through technology, Mr. Walsh and his students took this project to new levels. Hi, Mr. Walsh. How are you doing today?
Good. Thanks for having me on your show.
Please tell us more about the project and why it was so successful.
The project, as you said, was to make a sundial and use it to take readings. But the version of it that I did, the adaptation, was to integrate a lot of e-learning technology into the lesson plan. And I can just quickly give you a sense of that by showing you the PowerPoint that the students made. So they used digital imaging to capture these images you're seeing. This is my students making the sundial, making sure they get all the measurements right, taking digital images. This is the sun casting its shadow. They did make a very cool animated movie of the sun arcing across the sundial. This, shows me as an instructor that they didn't just make up the readings, but that this is exactly the way the shadow was being cast the day that they did this project. And then they did a really cool thing with Google Earth to corroborate their findings.
What technology is required?
So I guess besides just the software, I used a couple of websites. And the main one I used, I have this saved as a tab, is the Nortel LearniT website, which I'm going to now. And that's www.nortellearnit.org. Nortel LearniT has got the lesson plans, like the Ancient Observatories lesson plan that I used. That lesson plan is downloadable as a Microsoft Word document, so that's something I can modify or hand out to my students. You will also, the Nortel LearniT site is enriched with some tremendous hyperlinks And the other website that I used was a NASA website called NASA Connects. And that website has some tremendous video programs that show students, teach them more about the sun by way of background, and actually show some students doing the actual sundial making project that I had the students do.
Do you have anything else you'd like to add?
You know, I just encourage, the internet's obviously the future of teaching and learning, and I think that the time to get started is ASAP. So I just encourage teachers to welcome these technologies and to use websites like Nortel LearniT and NASA Connects to get them a quick jump start.
Thank you so much for being here with us, Mr. Walsh.
Well, thank you. I really enjoyed it. But how would you like to hear from one of my students who was involved in the project?
I would love that.
I'm here with Michael Parker, who was a student during the Ancient Observatory's Timeless Knowledge project. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
We're very excited about this project and want to know what you thought about it.
Well, the project was a lot of fun. It was a lot of hands-on, and we worked in a team and using technology to document our whole process.
Where did you begin with the project and what did you learn?
Well, we made this and we pretty much documented all of our findings, and we used a little bit of geometry to find true knowledge.
Wow, it sounds very different to many projects. How did you know to take pictures and turn them into PowerPoint, animations, and web pages?
I was taking technology classes in my school, and, you know, they taught me all the editing programs and how to take the pictures so I could be able to, you know, do all the stuff.
How did technology enhance the project?
We were able to show our classmates our whole process and take them step by step like we did. And we showed them how we got our findings by using Google Earth.
What advice would you have for teachers that were thinking about implementing a project like this?
Pretty much don't be afraid of technology. You know, if technology can help the kids out in the project, it makes it more fun and it's more hands-on. It just teaches them more as they go on.
Okay, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
We've really enjoyed talking with Dr. Odenwald, Mr. Walsh, and Michael Parker.
You know, there are many online resources that can be used to help turn learning into something fun and rewarding.
To find out more about this project and efforts to integrate technology into STEM subjects, check out the Ancient Observatory's Timeless Knowledge lesson plan at www.nortellearnit.org.
And that's all the time we have for our e-update today. Join us as we continue to explore ways to use technology for 21st century teaching and learning.